everybody, today I thought I'd show you this new technique that I learned. It's the Faux Druzy technique, and I've been seeing a lot of Faux Druzy on Pinterest and Etsy, and I really wanted to learn how to make it myself. And here's an example. This is not polymer clay, but this is just a little charm that I had on a piece of jewelry, and this is also Faux Druzy. I think it's probably made out of resin, but if you've ever seen the real Druzy, it looks very similar to this. So it has, like on the top, it's gonna have a real rustic kind of misshapen look and lots of texture, and so I'm gonna try to recreate this today. So what I did was I conditioned some Sculpey Premo white clay with just a little spot of purple clay, and I'm just going to condition this a little bit with my hands because it's gotten a little bit cold again since I conditioned it. And while I'm doing that, I'll just kind of explain some of the things here I have on the desk. So for the setting, I'm going to use, since this looks sort of rustic already, this is a bezel that I made from the Sculpey bezel mold. It's from the second largest circle bezel mold, and I really like using this one because you can put it in the oven. The only issue I've been having with it so far is that a lot of my, oops, there's a little bit of something hanging off of there. A lot of my pieces come out a little bit distorted around the edges, and I've tried troubleshooting that, and if anybody has any suggestions, I would love to hear them. When I'm pressing the clay into the mold, you can see the mold itself, how crisp that is, but for some reason, 9 times out of 10, I'm still getting little tiny bits of it are not completely filled in. So I'm not sure. For my mica powders, I'm just going to use an eyeshadow palette and a couple of Dollar Tree eyeshadows. These have really brilliant mica powders in them, so I'm just going to be using gold and pink. So now I'm just going to kind of break it up here, and I'm checking for little air pockets in case there's any air trapped in there. I don't want to get any air trapped in the clay. Okay, and now I'm just going to roll it into a ball shape. And I'm kind of pressing and rolling, because I don't want any air pockets in there. Okay, and now I'm just rounding it off with my fingers. I'm not too worried about fingerprints because we're going to be texturing the top, so this is a lucky one that you don't have to have it be super smooth. You have to be really careful about fingerprints. Okay, so now we have our finished baked piece. It came out very shiny, and I just have a bottle cap here for mixing. What I'm going to do to do a coat of gloss and to seal the Druzy is I'm using Americana Duraclear Satin Varnish, and it also comes in gloss. This is what I've been using lately to seal polymer clay pieces. It's polyurethane, and it really helps protect your pieces. And I actually read on the Blue Bottle Tree website that you can bake the varnish on top to really seal it in. It's pretty thin. It has a not quite a watery consistency, but definitely thinner than glue. And I'm just going to put some into my bottle cap here, and I'm going to be mixing some things into it. But before I do that, I'm going to put, this is what the Sculpey website recommended, is to put a little bit of fine glitter in the middle of the piece. So I'm going to do that. And I just found this is the closest to the color of clay that I had. And I believe I got this in a multi-pack at Ross a while back. This probably isn't the finest glitter, it's more like medium fine, but it's gonna have to do because it's all I've got for purple. I'm just gonna dab a little bit of that on there. Hopefully you can see the glitter. I'm gonna move this out of the way and bring the light in a little bit more. I don't want to go too heavy on the glitter because I don't want it to be too obvious that it is glitter. I want it to still look like Druzy. And now I'm using Pearl X and Interference Violet. This I'm going to actually mix into the varnish. And a little bit goes a long way. That's probably even too much right there, but... So I'm just going to... Hopefully you can see the iridescence of that. Really pretty color, and it has like a base white mica, and then the interference color is the violet, so you can really see how that comes out, hopefully through camera. And I'm going to paint that over the top so we can go back to more of a purplish violet color. Since the piece I used so much gold mica, I just love gold, but I do still want it to have that purplish look and to have an effect when you twist the ring around, that you'll have a multifaceted look that'll really pick up light. I'm just using a regular old small craft brush. Got these at Michael's in like a 25 pack. And I'm going to try a little experiment because as I'm painting here, the interference violet, I don't know if it shows on camera as well, but it looks a little bit more pink than purple, and I'd like it to look more purple. And so what I'm going to do with the rest of the varnish is add a little bit of alcohol. So I don't have a true violet color in the alcohol inks. I have eggplant and cool berry, and I'm going to try mixing those two. And I know the eggplant is quite colorful. It's a stronger color, and the cool berry is a more subtle color. So I just put 3 drops of cool berry, and now I'm just going to try with 1 drop. If I can manage to... Oh, wow. That one was ready to come out. Okay. You can see this is a really intense color, the eggplant, so I'm just going to try to put in 1 drop. There we go. See, that's very intense. And I'll mix that in, and then if it looks like it's coming out too intense, I can always put a little more varnish in there. So that's definitely looking more violet. Hopefully it will look that way on the ring. I'm going to get some of that extra mica that fell on there. and usually when I have baked the varnish on top, it will darken the colors a little bit, and so, but even if it just stayed like that, I really like how that pale purple is coming out. If it gets a little bit darker though, I wouldn't mind that either. So this will both color and seal the piece. Okay, and then this will go back in the oven. And what I usually do is, with the varnish, is just bake it at the same temperature that I had used for the clay, and for about the same amount of time, which would be 15 minutes. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So here's the finished and baked piece.